evening and welcome to Image Builders Presents a Conversation with Michael Carson. I'm your host, Michael Carson. Thank you so much for joining us on it is our last show of 2021. If you recall, 2 weeks ago, I said that was the last show of 2021. But I wanted to reflect a little bit and I wanted to have my guest on tonight. I'll introduce him in a second. If you're watching the show by Facebook, make sure you click the like button, make sure you share it, make sure you comment. If you're watching us by YouTube, make sure you click the subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll know when we're on the air. This has been an extraordinary year. This is our first year live streaming the show. I'm very proud of where we started and where we're at now and where we're going to go in the future. We've had some great guests throughout the year. Some really interesting topics. So if you've been enjoying the show, if you're new to the show, tell somebody about it. Let people know that we're on the air. I'll have a big announcement coming in January about some things I'm going to be doing outside of the show. But we're gonna plug the show in a little bit. I'm going to need your support. I'll give you more information on that in the new year. I don't want to waste too much time. But what I want to say is this. If you're listening tonight, share a 2021 reflection with us. Let us know what was something that was poignant that maybe happened in your life, something that you're thinking about, or even something that you're, wanting to go into 2022 with. So it's just important. So tonight is about sharing. I have an exceptional brother who's with me. Let me get him on the screen. He was with us earlier in the year. I said if I had anybody on tonight, he was the first person that came to mind because his art is reflective, it's beautiful, it's thought-provoking. His book, Their Names Are Mine, is out. Make sure you get it wherever you can buy books. My guest tonight is none other than poet, MC, teaching artist, Brother Rajni Esm. Thank you, sir, for being with me tonight.
Thank you so much for holding space for me, Michael. It's good to be here with you.
Yeah, man, it's always good sharing with you. Like I said, your work. You just put out some stuff that, like I said, it makes one think and make it kind of makes you, like I said, reflect. So when I thought about 2021, I thought, like I said, I thought of you, and I really wanted to get you back on. And we're gonna continue to dialogue throughout the years. We're gonna continue to share space together on Conversation with Michael Carson as as things unfold, and as you prepare pieces that you might want to share with our audience. So you always have a place in the space here. So we want to get into it. For those of you that are watching, again, share a comment, hit that like, hit that subscribe button on Facebook and YouTube. But 2021, we just heard earlier that Senator Harry Reid passed away. We just lost John Madden. We lost Colin Powell this year, Bell Hooks, Arthur, Desmond Tutu a few days ago. Who else? I wrote down there were so many names. Senator Bob Dole, Lee Elder, first African-American man who broke the barrier with the Masters, and I think it was Tiger Woods' dad who Lee Elder's inspired Tiger Woods' dad to get Tiger Woods into golf. So we want to kick the show off tonight with a reflective piece, and I want to turn it over to Brother Eds. Go ahead.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Yeah, this piece is in honor of all those ancestors, now ancestors, who passed on. For Bob Moses, Cicely Tyson, Bell Hooks, Virgil Abloh, Paul Mooney, and Desmond Tutu. What will be said of 2021 in hindsight, our second year into the new normal? We lost legends, witnessed the blatant contradiction of a country coddling white insurrection, saw one officer charged for the public execution that had rocked the world the prior year, while another boy man was lauded for his vigilante acts. So many of us lost loved ones or became sick ourselves. So if you are still here, remember, you are still here. If you woke with your sound mind or a way to reclaim it, where there is something in that that calls up gratitude. I had to count blessings, starting with breath, lest the foul stench of corruption and death toxify my vision's depth. Because outside the pale of all those bloodstained headlines, people were and are still breathing. I saw it. We made an honored pledge with Black poets to speak our truths unabashedly, and even in the challenging times, there was light found in our voices.
Wow. So much is in that. You just so much is in that. You touch on George Floyd, you touch on Kyle Rittenhouse, you touch on the insurrection, which I want to talk about that a little bit because I don't think people really understand the magnitude of what the insurrection represents, and what it not just. I think it's privilege for a lot of people at the highest of privilege. So most people feel like if the tables were turned and those were black faces, brown faces, indigenous people, they would there would we wouldn't even have a commission. People would be locked up under the jail, behind the jail, whatever they could have done. But we're in a state now where I just read yesterday or today where the White House is not even allowing the commission to release certain documents and certain information with respect to what took place. So as we talk about being Americans and what it means to be an American. It's tough sometimes to be Black in America when you see so many contradictions. Talk about it from the standpoint of your students and how you have to educate, teach, inspire, comfort, all of those things that you have to do for your students in the wake of just different things that they see and different inequities, if you will, just as from a larger sense.
Yes, definitely. I think anytime you're engaging with youth who very often do not have access to folks who are communicating with honesty and authenticity about our experiences historically and present day, especially in American education, it matters a great deal that you lead with that you hold space for respect and reverence for their own ability to understand what's going on in the world around them, and to affirming them in that recognition of purpose, that if they have the tools, the clear mind, and understanding to recognize all people as human beings share value, and recognize their own power and agency in helping to transform that phenomenon, that they also have a vital role to play.
So have you found that young people have become apathetic? Like they're like, whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't believe that anything is going to change, or it doesn't matter. I'm in my space. I'm doing my thing, or it just doesn't matter. I'm just going to press forward regardless. What have you found?
I think all of that's present. Just like it's present in human beings of all different ages. There's folks who kind of been assailed so much that, okay, this is how it's going to be. Why would I even attempt anymore? It's a futile enterprise. There's folks who are like, no, we're resolute. We're going to keep on getting up and working on building ways to transform the society that we live in, starting with the spaces that we're in, so it kind of depends on the people. And for me, art is about that, just holding space for the conversation, empowering, inspiring, and encouraging, and nourishing and nurturing people to connect in a deeper level inside themselves, and also to reflect on what that means to their own communities and to the world.
Are you hopeful as an artist, or as a person, and or as an artist? Are you hopeful, and then why are you hopeful? What gives you hope?
I mean, I think I take that note definitely from James Baldwin's book. It's like, if we're still alive and we're breathing, then optimism is there. We have life and breath, so we still have time and space and opportunity to do something. I think if our mission was up, we wouldn't be here. So as long as we're still here, and we have the capacity to imagine, envision, and hold space for our creativity and self-expression and imagination, and inspire and encourage ourselves and other people, that's a vital aspect that you don't necessarily always get to see the reverberations of, but
Yeah.
consistency in terms of planting seeds, that's the important part. Because many of the things that we may begin, we won't necessarily get to see to full fruition, but it's
Yeah.
about that cycle of ancestry, of passing down certain elements and encouraging those to become legacy producing.
What have you seen in your own life? You talk about seeds being planted and seeing a manifestation of those seeds. What seeds have you seen in your own life that are a manifestation of something that was planted either by um, a sibling or a mentor, or someone in your community?
Oh yes, definitely. My mother and the greater body of artists who were present when she founded the African American Writers Alliance, they
Hmm.
poured so much love and positive energy and affirmation and feedback and celebrating me as an artist and as a youth. Artist
Hmm.
at that, having the respect of my elders was something could not be taken for granted because many youth do suffer that kind of patronizing reality from adults who are like, "Oh, that's cute. That's good for what you do. I'm gonna pat you on your
Hmm.
head for that, right?" But no, it's,
Hmm.
it's not always sincere respect for the intelligence of a young person and recognizing, oh, they have something to offer and their vision of the world is valuable too. So I think those things impacted me a great deal because it
Right.
cemented it for me. It's like,
Right.
oh, wow, I believe this about myself, but I respect these individuals. And of
Hmm.
course, my mother, that's my foundation, and they see something in me. So it must be there. And I saw that process too. Now that's a huge part of the way I serve in terms of working with
Hmm.
youth, working with community. It's like it has to be sincere, from a sincere, reverential place where I see a light in you, like that namaste, like the light in me witnesses the light in you. And
Right.
that process of awakening in people to see them realize, oh, I've got something special just for being myself is a beautiful thing.
In your piece, you touched on a little bit about CRT, and for those of you watching CRT, critical race theory, which has become a hot button buzz. It's really just a buzzword because most of the people that use it don't even know what it is, don't know that critical race theory isn't even being taught in elementary school and high school. So people can't recognize it, can't tell you what it is, isn't being taught. We even have the governor in Florida, I believe, who's even doesn't even want Black history to even be taught because he's considering that critical race theory. Um, and so, it, in an attempt to take back school boards throughout the country, many are using that as a launching pad or as a platform, using that topic and using that subject. Um, as a teacher, teaching artist, someone who's studied history, um, talk a little bit about that, and then we had the loss of Bell Hooks, and then what she meant so much as an author, as a lecturer, as and what she meant to the culture and to literary, as and to literary as a whole. Um, Talk about CRT and this narrative about like we don't want to make white people mad by telling American history, because what I think people fail to realize is Black history is American history. So we can't talk about any other. I mean, how do we not talk about America as a whole, and then you leave out pieces that people are uncomfortable with?
Definitely. I mean, I think that, yeah, rest in peace, Bell Hooks.
Yeah.
Um, Such a powerful, prolific author, so very much rooted in being dedicated and devoted to love,
Hmm.
right? That was so much a key part of so many of the themes that she spoke of in terms of recognizing this is about love, how you show your love for people in real time, and what does
Hmm.
it really mean outside of what we're socialized to perceive it as.
Hmm.
And also, there's something alluded from Baldwin too. It's like, if I love you, then I have to make you aware of the truth, the
Right.
things that you're uncomfortable with that might rile you, but will serve you well if you're aware, because you don't have to repeat the same mistakes or the same elements. So
Right.
much the American history in the current day has to do with our negotiation, with deluding. ourselves, or allowing ourselves to be deluded, allowing ourselves to be periodically amnesia about when something arises. Oh, this is such a surprise. How could this happen in America? Well, read American history. This is a litany. It's never stopped. It's constant succession. It's not isolated incidences. So I think that that part has to be brought home. And there's such a kind of rabid attempt on the part of people who are very much used, like tantrum-y children, to having their way, that they'll go to all-out lengths, to even nonsensical lengths, like conflating CRT with Black history, or trying to make white people feel ashamed or uncomfortable, or white children feel guilty about being themselves. I don't think that really is the mark. I think, if anything, there's not a white guilt, there's a human guilt. Yeah. So very naturally, if you look like people who've done wrong, and you witness the people who've been done wrong, as a person with a conscience, you're going to feel something.
Yeah.
You know, if you try to deflect that, and you're choosing to try to make the people who have been the brunt of that harm, the people who are the actual assailants, are the dangerous ones. It's just that convenient bait and switch to try to transform, and again keep that delusion in place that, oh, the real issue is that we're trying to make white people feel uncomfortable, or Black people are trying to take something away from white people, or any disparaged and marginalized people is trying to take something away just by asserting our right to have access to our real history and to have access to our human rights and human dignity. And I think that's what Bell Hooks always profoundly was for, no matter who, in terms of shedding a righteous path to assert our value as human beings universally through that lens of love across the board. Because she would do that whether it was something that would do sex and gender, or race, or whatever the defining human term was, that you had a us and a them where someone was being oppressed. And that's what we have to take page from.
Yeah, your speaker is got low. I'm not sure if you
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
I think that's what we have to take a page from. Continue that same devotion and dedication to love and truth.
Yeah.
We honor our children, we honor ourselves by telling the whole truth.
Yeah.
If someone has emotions about that, we can hold space to process that. But that has nothing to do with the color of their skin. It has to do with that, their conscience, and that they're a human being who lives. So it's natural. It's just important that we're honest with ourselves first.
Okay. So did you have a piece that you want to share with respect to that, or?
Yeah, I could definitely share.
Sure.
There's a piece called "Why We Still Need Black History Month."
Okay.
Don't be so fearful of being racist that it deludes your common sense. Are so fearful of racism existing, you become a hypocrite. I wrote this on the off chance there would be some Black people who love themselves enough to listen in the audience, or some white people who know Black folk exist in more than convenient moments, or just some human folk who love truth and have enough sense to care about their roots. The librarian asked me, why do you think we still need Black History Month? For the same reason that Texas calls slavery unpaid internship, because the evil of ignorance and racism must be vigilantly opposed with truth, love, and sincere inclusion, because it was once Negro History Week, and for the children who daily see themselves through the lens of stereotypes, and those who only know television as relationship to Black people and people of color. For my daughters who are growing and will not be choked out by the diminishing of our value. For the legacy of our people that makes American ideals a sought-for reality rather than a cliche banality. For you, for your spirit and your conscience, so it doesn't putrefy in the delusion of denial and fear-made religion, because Black people must not become history. Our story is a part of your story. The beauty, wonder, triumphs, and trials need to be known, sung from the hilltops and mountain peaks, resounding in the valleys and grasslands, echoing down the alleyways and boulevards. Because Black, red, brown, yellow are the colors of my true love's hair and the universe. Because beauty and truth will not be contained. Because these are our ancestors. We owe them a debt of gratitude because love will not be silenced, because teaching white supremacy is poison. We are all still recovering, conditioned to tolerate it in small doses. The human family must heal. Soon this sickness will be vomited, and all that will remain will be you. Beautiful, healthy, free-minded you. Think of it as your chance to celebrate the human family in preparation for making every day our celebration.
I just wanted to, I know I'm live on the air. I want to let that breathe a little bit. Um, Oftentimes we don't think of, oftentimes we don't think beyond cliches. So I think Black History Month, or even for, for some Black people have become, it's become just, another thing. Like February is Black History Month, so it's Black History Month. So sometimes we can even forget, I think, because we're busy doing other things, or this is just the thing that we do, or this is the time we pull out. Oh, there's some, Black inventor, or we talk about Mae Jameson, or we talk about Madam C.J. Walker, or the Martin Luther Kings, and we don't reflect. So I think the piece not only spoke to why it's important, as you said, from a human perspective, but I think it also spoke to why we as Black people, I think we need to take a step back sometimes and think about it, and think about how it's so important that we maintain our own heritage, seek to understand our heritage, not just in February, but throughout, because it can't be contained in 1 month. So I mean, I wanted to say that. But 2021, we saw the mark, what was it, 800,000? We're now over 800,000 deaths due to COVID.
Mm.
And we were told in the beginning that COVID wasn't a thing. It'll be over with at a certain period of time, and we'll be fine. And now I got text messages and stuff today of friends and people have lost loved ones today because of COVID. So you have to deal with COVID. Then there are a number of people dealing with personal challenges, the mental health aspect of it. We don't talk about mental health as much, I don't think, in the Black community. And tennis star Naomi Osaka, when she said, "I'm done with tennis right now. I need to deal with my mental health," everybody was like, "Whoa." At first, it wasn't well received. Like, you have an obligation, as though your mental health is not important enough, but your obligation to me and to what you owe me as a fan or as an individual. So we're dealing with mental health, we're dealing with death, we're dealing with masks, we're dealing with unemployment for some people, underemployment for some people who can't, get a job, find a job. And yeah, Angela mentioned
insecurity.
Say that again.
Housing insecurity, yeah.
Yeah, housing insecurity, food insecurity, and those things have now been elevated as a result of COVID in some areas. Talk a little bit about the grief. I mean, because you're in Vermont, right?
Right.
You're in Vermont, and I'm here in Georgia. I mean, and we experience this, see it. Talk a little bit about grief. And again, I want to go back to, because you work with youth, how that has impacted you and how you've been able to be, a guard, if you will, and someone who can kind of advise, our youth as to what the next steps ought to be. Do you allow yourself to be vulnerable, or I have to be strong for youth?
Well, I think there's strength in vulnerability, being honest and authentic with yourself, showing that, hey, we are vulnerable as human beings.
Yeah.
We can bleed, we can die, we need food to live, we need shelter to survive. And it hurts us when we're hurt, and it hurts us when other people are hurt, whether we show it or not, because we're all connected. Being able to model that and affirm that is important for youth and for all people. Um, yeah, Vermont, I think it's hard all over, but I gotta count my blessings every day that we got, soft landing, safe rest, a
Yeah.
roof over our head. My daughter and my mother in the other room, we got 3 generations safe right now here. Not
Hmm.
everybody has that. Not everybody woke up this morning,
Right.
every day. I've seen it a lot in my circles of friends, folks dealing with housing insecurity, dealing with mental health challenges, dealing with grief from recent lost loved ones to COVID and other uh, accidents and experiences, all these different aspects. And it's
Hmm.
wearing and daunting. But I think that's why it's so important to have ways to ground and center yourself so you
Hmm.
can be able to depend on yourself first and connect to, if you believe in a higher power or connect to a source that allows you to have that grounding and centering and equilibrium returning. And also
Right.
be a support to the folks in your circle and the youth and the people who need it, who you might just come across on the humble. I had a friend reach out recently who was going through a thing right before this call. And definitely reach out to them afterwards. But I think it's about that. It's like recognizing what our own capacity is and kind of getting a sense for how we can dig into that and hold space for ourselves when we need it, be more attuned to ourselves, to our actual feelings, not feeling so much of society is stuck in pretending to appear a certain way,
Right.
invulnerable and sophisticated and civilized and advanced and superior and all
Yeah.
these so higher than thou, mightier than thou sounding words. But really, we're all just babies. We just we started as children, very, very fragile. Then we grow
Yeah.
older, we're still fragile. So
Yeah.
you got to give thanks. It's nothing but grace that you're still here. So it's really
Yeah.
about how you come to appreciate that with the gravity and reverence that it merits. And then I think that allows you to be free to be there for yourself and for others in a more meaningful way.
So, is there a piece you want to share?
Oh, yeah, I have a recent piece I just wrote for the call. Um, um, yeah, it's on grief. It's still in progress, but this is what I have so far. Have you felt it? That throat choking hurt? After a while, it all gets to be a bit too much. Some go numb or lose their touch. All just a bit too much. I have felt the tears pour from ducts until there was nothing left but dust. Had my stomach tied in knots, crying for hope I never caught. Grief is a sinister friend, leaving you bedridden at midnights while the days go on without you. Grief, I wish I could speak to you, tell you to leave this place. That the pain you inflict while lying nestled up close to me has made my voice a whisper. I don't sound like myself, nor do I remember who that was before you came. If only I could call you and banish you by name. Grief, such a short, brief word to capture worlds unspeakable. Red rimmed lids, I am tongue tied, and all food tastes bland as rice.
Wow. Wow. So, when you're writing, is that so? When you're writing and when you're thinking about a piece, you're thinking about a topic, do you reflect on your own experiences, your own grief, or is it more so, do you try to impart that in your work, or do you say, I want to try to keep it where where it doesn't become too personal, and I just want to try to generalize it so that it can be reflective of multitude of things?
Yeah, I think that it's a mixture. I want to be able to touch on things that I can feel because I feel it too. And I
Mhm.
want to touch on things that people are going through in real time, and I don't feel disconnected from that.
Right.
I feel like all those things are connected, and we're not separate. There's illusion that we're separate. So if we know what's going on in the world, and we can speak to it in a way that acknowledges that, hey, we're all feeling this too. We're all going through this together, whether or not people want to own up to it or not. But the
Yeah.
quicker you do, though, you can hold space to have some healing yourself and some ability
Yeah.
to hold space for other people's healing just from modeling. That I think as I add to that piece too, I think I want to come to a place where we actually get to address grief.
Hmm.
speak to it, because grief is just another sign that we're hurting and something needs to be transformed.
Yeah.
So like, so it's not entirely a bad thing, but it's when we deflect it or pretend it away or tamp it
Yeah.
down,
Yeah.
that's when it turns ugly and comes out in dysfunctional ways, which is kind of
Yeah.
American history run rampant.
Yeah.
All of these things, the cases of tamped down grief that come out in dysfunctional and sometimes violent ways. So I think it's definitely important to put that self-care and that medicine in front.
It is past the time, but we still got a few more minutes. I control the time, so I always want to end, as my wife would say, on a complimentary sandwich. So we want to end with hope. There were a number of good things that happened this year. We elected a new president, first Black female vice president, an Asian Pacific Islander. Um, Reverend Warnock was the first Black senator from the state of Georgia. What else I have? I have a bunch of different stuff. Tamara Stock became the first Black woman to win the gold medal in wrestling. Juneteenth has now been, recognized as a federal holiday. I mean, it's another day, but we'll see we still need voting rights legislation, which is even more important in my mind, and other things. So I just want to end with hope. And for those of you that are watching the show, we're going over to Instagram. So you'll be able to hear these pieces again and also to share. I wanted to give you guys who had not met Brother Edens, I wanted to give you an opportunity to meet him. He's doing some phenomenal work in Vermont, has a book out. Their names are mine. He'll tell you how to get that at the end of the broadcast. But I just wanted to close out on hope and give him an opportunity to share this piece. So, if you will.
Thank you very much. Yeah, this is a piece that's going to be in my upcoming text. It's called Beautiful, Bountiful, Sun-Kissed People. And the name of the text is in the coded language of this mortal tongue. So I'll share it with you now. It's something that often has brought us hope, and I tend to, in the Black Artist Showcases that we do here in Vermont, which is a very homogenous area, with this piece consistently, just to kind of honor the beauty and the brilliance of Black people, and to speak that with appreciation and reverence for our ancestors and for us and for our descendants to come. Beautiful sun-kissed people, walking miracles, unfolding parables, ancient scrolls and ocean's throes, love be a rose adorning your ears. This morning will not bring mourning nor a thorn in tears. This forever moment is shorn of fears. Beautiful sun-kissed people, we are on the cusp of overthrowing overseers, light years beyond heckles and jeers. No more tanning our hides where Dr. Jekyll steers. This love is sheer, transparent and near, as dear as your closest relative here. Beautiful sun-kissed people, no conversation on us being equal, just entertaining the thought is evil. We weave full, fully woven, lost and found, traded and stolen, but look what the eye beholding. Beautiful sun-kissed people, golden, black and free and ebony, mahogany and mocha bee, chocolate Haagen-Dazs can't see. Rivers running melanin, shallow men be monitoring, but most high God at all intents and purposes and sovereign skin, watch this here Poma sins, journeying and frolicking. Summer breeze is talking with the autumn wind, how winter just won't break our stride. Too much spring in step for us to hide, our victory is justified. Beautiful sun-kissed people, solarized with older ties, our currency ain't tokenized. We close to those focused and wise, whose feet arise on open skies. We white supremacy eulogizing, blessed ministry new horizon, and desperate attempts at euphemizing our brilliance with futile lies still will never neutralize. Too many youth been euthanized, fed sweet as prey to tooth decay, but truthfully our rootful way has truth to say, adorns the night, salutes the day, and beauty that the stars obey. Beautiful sun-kissed people, I relate to you so musically, and oh, the joy it brings, like lift every voice and sing, till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Let earth and heaven ring in sacred oath, 'cause after all we are betrothed to wondrous wonders of untold, great grand good fortune that broke the mold. Can't buy us off with moldy bread. We've more than crumbs inside our heads, and crust just will not satisfy. When banquets alone are ours divine, we walk in gourmet grandma made, deliciousness in every shade. Say sun-kissed people, say beautiful, blessed, bountiful sun-kissed people. I praise a path that plants our flag squarely in earth of self-made basking, a glorious newfound approach that predators cannot encroach, that parasites and wayward folks that a mere glimpse will cough and choke. See, this radiance is brighter still than every sun that lights a hill. It calls from something deep within and pours from vocal cords and pen. Beautiful sun-kissed people, I'm nourished just to see you. You've furnished my living room with life abundant, killing gloom. You water every plant I have and flourish my gardens green and vast. Sing lullabies to my inner child and soothe all fears of foul defile. You spray my sense of grace and lovingly embrace my face. Say, I am you and we are a race that founded every human trace. Sun-kissed people, I wake with your poems on my tongue. In my chest I hear your drum, from my lips I hear your hum. It gets me high and drunk as rum. On you I am forever spun, your melanin I'll never shun. With you I am forever one, has there been better, never one. Sun-kissed people, I bequeath these odes to you, your next of kin and children too, and their children's 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 view will yet still match your vibrant hue. You supernatural sorcery, to walk in temples gorgeously, shaming cathedrals far and near, make a white Christ pale in the mirror. Sun-kissed children, you are it. Don't let nobody tell you shit, unless they fertilize in soil, to grow a rose regal and royal, to don a rose upon a rose, of red and black and green and gold, so poetically bestowed it dignifies your inner throne. Sun-kissed children, marvelous, miraculous magnificence, outlandishly so unabashed, unapologetic sass, ultramagnetic blackness, the right goddess on your epitaph. That's blasphemy, surely, right? Because we know true gods never die. Sun-kissed children, you kiss my eyes with all that sunshine you applying. I say I am in love for true, because you are me and I am you, from head to toe and all between. I love these princes, kings, and queens. I even find you in my dreams, and when I wake, I vow to breathe, and breathe to vow, with every vowel and consonant I can't pronounce. Announce to cosmos all your feats, build castles for your sweet retreats, whose feathered pillows, black satin sheets, a sacred lounge to rest your crown from all them wounds been crying out. Sun-kissed people have no doubt. You're all I am, what I'm about. Can't tell my story without your page. Hell, every chapter be erased. You sew my lines so seamlessly. We vibe on higher frequency. So let's not love in secrecy. My sun-kissed people, you be is the key.
I never get tired of hearing that. I never get tired of hearing that because there's just so much in there. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate you being here tonight, yet again, and gracing us with your work, with your life's work. I'm appreciative, and thank you so much. Tell people where they can reach you, how they can get your book, what you got coming up.
Definitely. We have a new release coming up in the next coming months of a new text called In the Coded Language of This Mortal Tongue. And for those who want to get in contact or hold space for engagements, readings, dialogues, or facilitations, writing workshops of different age groups and adults as well, you can contact me at www.rajniedins.com. That's www.rajniedins.com. So I hope to hear from you, and thanks again for everybody being present.
Yes, sir. Thank you for being here tonight. Look, this is our final episode of the year. I promise we won't be back tomorrow or on the 31st. But I want to thank you all for tuning in to Conversation with Michael Carson tonight. And throughout the year, it's been fun. It's been challenging. It's been interesting. And I've had the opportunity to meet some interesting individuals such as Brother Ettins. And it's been my pleasure and my honor to share space with them. So until next year, Happy New Year. May God's grace shine upon you and keep you and your family safe. Make sure you social distance, wear a mask, do whatever you need to do to keep you and your family safe, such that there won't be any hurt, harm, or danger that will come near you. And I count this show as an opportunity to serve others. So I'll end the show like I do most everything. And that is, and Brother Rajni, you're going to stay on. We're going to talk afterwards, so don't go anywhere. But I do it like I end the show like I do most everything, and that is continued blessings and thank you for the opportunity to serve. See you next year. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning into Conversations with Michael Carson. Join us here each Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for engaging and insightful conversations. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you have not already done so, don't forget to click the share button on Facebook and the subscribe button on YouTube. The conversation doesn't stop here. Head over to Instagram and join us on Michael Carson Jr. starting shortly. See you soon, and until next time, continue blessing.